Come to our Entrepreneurship Impact again. My name is Kathleen. I would like to introduce a special guest today, who is a designer, Geraldine. So Geraldine, hi.
Hi.
So maybe you would like to introduce about yourself.
Yeah, hi everyone. So I was a former RWS designer. Then I started, full-time freelancing only about last September. So since then I've been, working with clients like NLB, MOE. Past clients includes National Geographic as well. Quite a number, yeah. So I think what I would say is that I try to focus my work on illustration, branding through illustration. That's something that I'm trying to go for. Yeah.
So what kind of designer are you like? Branding or
Yeah. So I give a background. So previously, I was an animator. I was studying at the South. For my diploma and my degree, 5 years there, very long. Then after that, I wanted to branch into graphic design. Also because I realized that the industry for animation it's still a great market, but a little bit limited for what I was after. So I decided to branch out a little bit. So yeah, so that was my approach. Then I guess initially I wanted to focus more so on um, illustrations for kids and whatnot. So at one point I was like, I want to be an author. But then I realized that I ultimately want to be able to do more and provide more. So that's why I wanted to do more on branding, because ultimately I learned this from this very famous agency. It's called Blind. They are design agency in the US. So they said that um, ultimately their goal is to help their clients and help their audience to grow, and then through their work. So that's something that I want to do also. So I think that's why branding is the best form of what I can do. So I'm trying to integrate both design and also business and branding as well. Yeah.
also so it's more like you started like like everyone like you study all this it's like a standard path to everyone like we
Yeah,
study
yeah, yeah.
design all this. Then what get you like started entrepreneurship all this?
Oh, okay. So at one point, I had another job. So after that job wasn't that great, but from that particular job, I learned quite a bit. So, okay, okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, no worries, no worries. So what happened was I learned quite a bit from different jobs here and there. So along the way, I realized that I wanted to be I wanted to rebuild my own identity and make a mark on the street on my own. Um, and yeah, I think I was tired of people saying, how uh, artists or designers need to starve first. We're starving, and then it become like a joke. So, but I mean, I understand it's quite funny, but after a while, it starts to get really hurtful because it's, they just accept for what it is. So that's why I wanted to focus on this route. At the same time, also, I kind of want to influence the market to try to educate others along the way. That this path is viable. It's going to be really difficult, but it's viable, and then I can help them along the way as well. Yeah, that was at least that is my ideal goal. Yeah, but still working at it. Yeah, yeah.
Did something happen like in kickstart or like how
Oh,
was your journey so far?
how? Wait. Oh, do you want to know the actual kickstart or the journey itself, like the
More
entrepreneurship?
like a kickstart like.
Oh, the actual story. Okay, that was a bit too juicy, but um, can't say too much. But on the whole, what happened was I started to observe how other industries were, not paying others well or making use of their staff, long hours. Like I've got a friend who's working uh, like from 9 a.m. all the way to 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m. almost every day in the office. So it's quite tough. And I see the amount of work and the amount of pay didn't match up at all, right? So I thought there must be another way out. No, I mean another way out. But there must be another approach to this. Yeah. So I started to observe other. I was actually working under this one boss. He's actually quite incredible. I don't know if I can say his name, but I'll just describe him. When I was working under him, he was 26 last year, so he's a very young chap. He's only a year older than me, but he's really running his own business. And then he was at a startup program at Ngee Ann, I think. So he was doing very well for himself. And then in that cubicle itself, because it's like an incubator program, I noticed there were other entrepreneurs that were about my age or a little bit older. So from there I thought, hey, these people, they managed to find a way. So I thought, that's the route I wanted to go for. I think that was the kickstart of it, yeah. Something that made me go, yeah, it's actually possible. Then I met Tony, and then the Scale Up program, and that really helped boosted my confidence. Yeah.
Yeah, that's very true. Like when there's a will, sure you have a way to go. Like.
Yeah. I think it helps also because maybe I might be skipping this too early, but I was a little bit worried at the start, like everybody. But so I didn't want to tell anybody. It's more like a deep dark secret. Like no one should know about this. I was really scared. Then, but I realized that it's kind of silly because if people don't really know about you, then they will not be a help at all. Like why? But I realized that when I start to tell more people about it, then they start to say, oh, actually we might need so and so or this service. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, then I'm your person. Let me help you. Then that's how that's how it goes about. Yeah.
So looking back at your journey, right, like your all this, like how do you make sure you are progressing your business?
How am I progressing? So I noticed that with COVID, right? At least, okay, maybe I'll talk about pre-COVID and then COVID. So pre-COVID, it was a lot more direct. The first major client I worked with was with NLB. So they wanted to have I guess I can't really say, but they wanted some marketing materials. So I realized that my work generally is more appealing to like family friendly or for kids. So I wanted to start with that and try to create an audience or try to create like a niche for that. Yeah. So that's one of my key criteria. I mean, what's one of my key how I keep it forward is that I know my target audience and I try to look for clients that are after that. At the same time, also, I think I like to learn new stuff along the way. So, not I think I know I like to learn new stuff along the way. So, I realized that if it's just relying on those core skills that you have, it's not necessarily enough. Ultimately, I've always have the notion to remember that it doesn't really matter how well you do it, is whether you can actually help your clients or not. So I think that is the main criteria or message or goal I remember, that helps me keep myself relevant. It's not what can you do, or it's not matter how skillful I am, it's about how well you can serve them. Yeah. So sometimes I have to also realize that maybe if I come across a project that the pie is really good, I'm like, wow, so nice, so much special flavor, but I'm like, oh shit, this project might not be up to my scope entirely, so don't try to like pretend that you might know. You need help, just ask. I think that's the one thing that I realized while working with Scale and other of my other clients as well. Yeah, I think that's what helped me. Yeah.
So in other words, can I say it's more like build your own personalized styles and also
yeah, something like that. And I think also to always remember that you are. I think most people see themselves as a service provider, but not much else. So I think that is a little bit shooting yourself the knee. I mean, it's not a wrong approach, but I think I'll add on is that you have to remember the intention to want to help, not just to serve for your own purpose. Maybe that is another key criteria. It's just to remember that you just need to help others. Yeah, that has been quite useful for me so far. Yeah.
Okay. So how was your what was your biggest challenge so far in this industry? Is it competitor or? Anything else?
If I put it bluntly, right, I will hire a nobody essentially, because I I know, right? I very cute, but no, that's kidding. So the thing is, because I was so scared of telling anybody that I was studying on my own, so that was the challenge, trying to even have the courage to put myself in front. Yeah. So I think that was the difficult part. Then next thing was to also manpower. I mean, because I want to grow. No, not on my own. I want to grow with others. But I think the challenge is to try to convince others that that you're not out to take advantage of them. But we can work together to help us both, something like that. I think that's the challenge. Yeah. But in terms of the industry competition, yeah, there will always be competition for sure. But I think, yeah, especially there's something called Fiverr. So yeah, I mean, I've been told before. People straight up told me, it's like, so how much do you charge for, say, a logo? Then I can give a gauge lah. So in Singapore, people expect it to be around like what less than 500. But I know in elsewhere in the States, a logo can be up to like 20K for a premium logo. Yeah. So that's why I remember someone told me, it's like I state a price, then they were like, what? Fiverr? I can go to Fiverr and get it. Is that, I mean, I think that's when I'll counter my counter for those approaches is that, I mean, you can go Fiverr, sure lah. But the chances of it turning out well is another story. And also the thing is, what I can provide is ultimately, is my consultation. So what you get from me is one on one. You never. I don't know if you get it from the Fiverr guy or lady. So at least with me, that I will always be working on it. Yeah. And you can talk to me or whatever customization. Just come to me. Yeah.
So far, have you overcome all the challenge already, or still along the way?
Along the way, still new to this. Still got challenges. So I guess the most current one is I think, okay, because right now, right, I could be very lucky because I managed to also find other mentors along the way. So another one is I can't really say his name. I think I can. But okay, his name is Adrian. So he runs his own marketing agency as well. So basically, I gathered insight from different people. The one thing they share on the whole is that with COVID, right, people are out for more digital marketing. So even traditional markets like insurance and whatnot, they're trying to move on to more digital marketing platforms. But I think the challenge for the industry itself is trying to encourage all generations to move along with them. I think that is the hard part. Yeah. So for me, is the challenge is trying to also reach out to the older generation, because my niche is more so on, I can say it's family and kids, but the family there's still a limit. I say it's probably age 40ish, then that's my cap. So when it comes to 60s, right, I'm still trying my best to learn about the market, but I understand that it's still a challenge, but we're all working towards that lah. Yeah.
So is this something that you foresee yourself to work on it, or like what's the business in the future?
Sorry again?
What's the business trend that you observe in the industry so far in the future?
In the future. Okay, maybe I can say the current trend and maybe the future trend. Maybe I'll break it down to like different age groups. So the first trend I noticed currently right now for the youngsters, at least by youngster I mean like age, Gen Z and millennials, is that there has been a growing concern about mental welfare. So that is something that has been a trend lately. I don't want to call it a trend. It's something that needs to be addressed for sure. Yeah. So that has been at least the focus so far on the younger generation. Marketing and whatnot, it's always been about that. Then for the working class, I would say it's more so on financial tips and whatnot. Like, what's that? What is that guy? I mean, Money Smart is one of them. So basically, financial tips and whatnot is at least for the working class. And for the older generation, is current trend is just trying to keep them safe. At least that's what I noticed lah. Yeah, like how to keep yourself occupied, how to keep yourself safe and exercise and whatnot. At least during COVID. Then the future trends, what I anticipate is that at least for I go back to the younger ones again. I mean the millennials, the younger generation, is on how to cope post COVID, more so on the economy and whatnot, how to find jobs. So that is something that I can probably, work towards. And at the same time, also try to bridge between between the young and the working class, because there are a lot of parents. I spoke to my relatives. Their kids are like about to graduate from college or like secondary school or primary school, so they are very scared of what's going to happen. Um, so I would like to be able to kind of uh, reach that particular concern that they have and try to make it more meaningful for them. So what I want to do is, because I'm still ultimately a designer, and I want to move towards a direction of being able to produce not only engaging content but also informative content. Like I don't know if you heard of Vox. I think most of you guys have heard of Vox or other educational channels. So that's something I want to attain at. So I think so long you provide value to the community, right? It does. Not only do you provide community and help others, but at the same time also it kind of pivots you as an expert in your field. So that is ultimately like two stones will hit one bird. Yeah. Whereas for the older generation, I think for them it's retirement. Yeah, so it's always ultimately down to money and also about endowments and their retirements. What are they going to do about their grandkids or their kids? So currently, I'm trying to come up with different campaign ideas to tackle those particular issues. I think I mentioned to Tony before about Scale Up is that I kind of want to go into a AR route, to because I think that when it comes to AR, it's probably the next best thing when it comes to marketing campaigns. Similarly, also they're trying to build goggles and whatnot right now to help enhance that experience. So that is something that I probably would like to try on the elderly also. There is a company called Mind Palace. Pretty interesting. So I can't remember the guy's name, but he creates what's those VR experience for elderly with dementia. So I think he's a millionaire a couple of times. So he will go around putting those goggles and help elderly, stimulate their brains to prevent or slow down the rate of dementia. So that is something that we could probably try on as well. At least that's what I imagine future trends to try to focus on. Yeah, for the elderly. Yeah.
So you would like to extend more on your capability in terms of like penetrate to old generation and as well as post-COVID.
Yeah. That's the goal. Yeah.
Okay. So like looking back at your journey, right? Like, is there any like memorable experience that you had?
Memorable experience, like projects or like people or just anything in general?
General, like in your journey, what have you experienced?
I think I'm always the one thing that surprised me the most is always how people are willing to. Okay, I think the hardest part is also for me at the start, right, was on how to sell myself or how to sell in general, right? Because I think I mentioned before that the word sales is always very scary and a bit slimy sometimes. At least when we think of it, lah. So especially for me, I'm an introvert, right? I don't even like showing my face. So it's like sell yourself. I'm like, wow, how? So that was one interesting experience as to I realized that ultimately, right, if you don't try to pretend to do something that you're not, or try to do something funny or shady, then people can tell a difference. So, and ultimately, people are actually willing to work with you if you are willing to help. At the same time, also, if you need help and you ask, people are willing to help. So that's something that I learned along the way that always surprises me. Maybe because I'm an introvert, so that's why it's always surprised me. Yeah, but that is one interesting experience. Another one was one particular project which I thought was pretty fun. I think it's really out already. Is there was this tech educational company that I was working with.
Mm.
It's called Dim Sum Warrior. So it's done. It's just run by this lady and her husband. So her husband is a comic artist, right? So he has done several books already for primary school kids. Yeah. So they wanted to turn their content into an app, into an online platform, and also they wanted to reach out to to a wider audience like Hong Kong, in the US, yeah, quite a bit. So I think that was one of the more interesting experiences because not because it was anything revolutionary, no, because I think it goes to show that people out there are trying their best to innovate. That is one thing that always I rather respect and impress that people are out there and trying to do that. So that is one eye opener for me because people come to me usually for marketing materials, so it's quite standard. But that is one of the more I guess extreme cases as to how they did it. It's like, wow, okay, that's pretty neat. Yeah.
Okay, so I guess it's interesting. I guess every one of us as entrepreneurs that we started from scratch, and along the way we learn from each other.
Yeah. For me also very helpful.
Yeah, so let's say if my last question would be like, if there is a tips that you can advise or give those who just started their entrepreneurship, so what would it be?
I think the first lesson is to don't blame yourself. Don't blame yourself or blame others. I mean, there's a difference between because at the start, right, or rather things that you are unhappy about might be at least the reason why I started was because I was happy about a lot of stuff. So I wanted to change that. So my tip is just don't blame, just make something out of it. Yeah, because there are others who are in a lot worse situation, but they are still thriving. So that really did impress me. Plus, also maybe because many of my friends are international. I mean, from international countries. So when you hear their histories, like from Vietnam, from Japan, from China, you hear the different experience. You start to realize that, actually, we have it a lot more comfortably. I hate to say this, but we kind of are. So when I hear people being upset about not having opportunities, then it's like, just because you just need to just go look for it. I mean, no other choice. So that is probably my tip. But I understand also because environment does matter, so let's do our best out of this. That's one, and also just stay informed. Because working alone is pretty weird. I mean, at the start, it's really weird. Even working others also, like I still get tips from different mentors and from you guys also. But you still have to go read up. You still have to go watch videos or read relevant stuff that can help you. Because things don't just appear like, oh, yeah. I wish it appeared and be like, yes, I know everything. Yeah, but no. So I just stay informed, and then just make sure that you don't stay stagnant. Yeah, I think that's one thing that Tony can emphasizing. just you have to improve on your skill set and just keep working at it, and don't be afraid to ask for help. Yeah, if you're introvert or not, just ask lah. You'll be surprised people are actually willing to help. Yeah, people don't go like, come on you. No, not all the time. Yeah.
Yeah, eventually it's not to stop. Keep progressing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Been quite lucky so far, so that helps.
Okay, thanks for sharing today. So now I would like to open the ground. Like, is there any questions that you would like to ask Geraldine? Feel free to ask her about her experience or in this journey.
I see Regina there. Hey Regina.
Hi.
Long time no see.
Yeah, long time no see. Sorry, I'm in pajamas. I put on the
Oh, hey, no, it's fine. Yeah, I want to wear pajamas now also. But
Yeah, at home always wear pajamas.
yeah, that's the life.
Maybe
I think that's the best the pros of COVID. You gotta wear whatever you want at home, and no one
Yeah,
can
very
judge you.
comfortable, right?
Right? Yeah. Maybe only my parents or people who like their kids. But other than that, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Regina is a designer also.
Architect, right?
Yes.
Damn.
I got a question.
Actually,
I got a question. Sorry. Maybe
yeah.
maybe I just ask this because a lot of times from my understanding is there is a problem with the artist domain type of skill set of entrepreneurs. Okay, so they don't know
Yeah.
how to sell themselves. Okay, so
Oh
that's what you
yeah.
mentioned. Okay, because that's why it's not the problem with the artists. That's why they are normally the artists always poor one. That's the facts. So
Mm.
so how can you move on? Like I just want to understand, or you want to give some hints on how can you move on from an artist to someone that can survive? Not trying to be like very rich or very well doing, but at least
Mm.
how do you position yourself as an artist to what you are doing today lah, so that you are
Okay.
brave enough to talk to people, to then to proceed with what you want to do in your life lor. Yep.
I think I would say there are probably two different types. Oh my god, categorizing people. Don't kill me, guys. But from what I observed, right, there's like two groups of artists that I've noticed. Not all artists are necessarily starving. In fact, the other half that I'm going to mention, right, is doing very, very, very well. They've got a huge following. They got very loyal followers. Yeah, and plus also they before COVID they were going for a lot of events. They were getting a lot of traction. And until now, also even with COVID, they're still invited for online talks and whatnot. So there are others who are doing quite well. So the difference between those who do well and those who don't do well is not necessarily the skill set, because there are those who are like bloody amazing. Wow, they can create the most they can create the most amazing stuff ever. Something that I can never do. But yet they're still dying. Not to say dying, but they're struggling. And then you hear stories like, oh my god, I've been doing this for a number of years, but I never got anywhere. So one thing I think difference that set them apart is that they kept doing it for themselves, which is not wrong. So there are those who do very well, right? They ultimately have a goal. Either is to be so skilled that everybody just go, wow, I look at it, and they not market themselves, so that helps. Another reason is for why they do well is also because they know how to interact with people. No, they don't interact with the audience, so they may be shy, but they still do their best to. They care about their followers, or they care about their work enough, or the people who care about their work, so they just engage. So it's all about engagement marketing, and also consistency really. I think the ones who do really well is just very consistent. Yeah. Then those who don't do so well is also the ones who do well, sorry. Those who do well also they don't blame anybody. they just keep working at it. They don't go like, oh, I don't do well because what's that? What they say that I think there was one article that came up that was quite controversial. I think it was that Straits Times article that says about non-essential. So then it kind of split the whole community. I saw the outrage. Yeah, I also felt a little bit upset. But then people kind of take it a little bit too personal. I think those are the ones who do not do as well because they are so they focus. Their work is mostly focused on themselves, for themselves, and then they kind of refuse to see that it's good for you, but then does it serve a purpose for any does it serve a purpose? Does it serve a purpose as to engage a certain group that you're after? Does it serve a purpose as to help any companies or not? So I think that is the one question that I also struggled for a long while. At the start, I was like, I want to do something, but I don't know what and how. So I think that will always be a challenge. That I think, and also ask for help. I think the artists also find it very tough. Yeah. So I hope I answered that question. Yeah.
Yep. I think what you try to say is like increase your value depth knowledge as a with knowledge, so that you have confidence to talk to others. with the essential type of values that the client need. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's what
Mm-hmm.
covers it. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Any other questions from others?
Yeah, me. Okay, my question for you is, as you mentioned earlier about courage, have you ever experienced a sense of complacence during the post-COVID in your job?
Complication.
Uh,
Yeah.
complacent. Are you complacent
Oh,
with your job?
complacent. Oh.
Throughout the post-COVID.
Post-COVID.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. I was complacent. I think that's one thing that I have to always remind myself. One of my biggest weakness is that I guess I'm a relatively prideful person. So that has always been a very difficult thing to always try to remember. You need to uh, remove your ego and put it at the door, and then try to realize that sometimes I get like, for instance, right? Sometimes at my in my early days, before in school or not, I thought I was hotshot. Then no, when I came out of the working world, I realized that nobody actually cares whether what you did in school, how well you did in school. Everybody cares about whether you can uh, do something for them. So I think that was a very good lesson, life lesson. So I think that was the complacent moment. I realized that you just gotta work on yourself and improve yourself. If not, no one's gonna like be nice or care as much. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
This. Yeah. Go on.
oh yeah, I think that was all. I think I misheard your question earlier. Something about it being complicated.
Complacent.
Complacent. Okay, just everything. Yeah.
Hello, Leonard.
Hi, Leonard.
We are coming to the end soon.
Okay. I missed the best part. So sorry.
Hey, no worries. Nice to meet you.
Hey, Tony, you got recording of this?
I got recording of this.
Nice. Okay,
Yeah.
I will look at the recording. Anything, I will buzz you up.
Yeah, so Jared is the designer. You have maybe you can have a brief introduction to Leonard, like about what you do.
Yeah. So hi, Leonard.
Hi.
So I was a former RWS designer. My background comes from animation. Yeah, so
Okay,
I was a very passionate 2D animator, and then I wanted to jump into graphic design. Yeah, and then I realized that through branding, it really does make more impact as a whole. And I realized I started to really enjoy doing marketing materials and branding as a whole. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Do you do SEO marketing?
SEO marketing?
Yeah.
Social media campaigns? Yeah. I've been branching out to those.
Okay, you let me hook up with you after this. Because
that's awesome.
Yeah, I'm starting something. So let's look forward. See whether we can work together.
Sure, no problem.
Anyone that Tony recommends usually are very good, right?
Thank you so
much. Sure. Okay, I would love to work with you.
So how long have you been on your own?
Okay, I've been freelancing part-time for about 3 years already.
Yeah.
But full-time was only last September.
Okay.
Yeah. Fairly recent.
At a very challenging time. That's good.
Yeah. That's yeah. So actually, during earlier, I mentioned it was quite funny because I was also hesitant to tell anybody that I was doing this because I realized that during December I was like hearing a lot of news about COVID. I'm like, oh no, oh no, my family gonna kill me. Yeah, but after I realized that it doesn't matter, so long you know how to do with this, know how to provide value and just go along, and it's fine.
Yeah, that's good. You look very young, a lot younger definitely than us, most of us. Yeah. It's good to start on your own.
Yeah. No, because I was inspired by young bosses. So I don't know if you heard of Pollinate.
No.
So Ngee has I can share with you. So a brief while, maybe whoever was interested can also take part. Was in Ngee. So Ngee Poly has an incubator program for those who want to start a business. So I was working for one of the bosses there. previously, and then I realized that it was very insightful because you see a lot of young people there who are doing startups, who are doing really well already, and then all between like age 20s, maybe some 30s. 30s were the oldest ones there, but most of them were like 20s. So I was like, oh damn, that is possible lah. Just need to know the right skills and the right people lah.
Yeah, that's the next wave of entrepreneurs. That's where they can come from.
Yeah.
They're doing something good lah for this poly. Ngee Poly, you are saying, is it?
Ngee Ann Poly.
Okay. I think my cousin came from there, and they did took part in a lot of pitching competitions.
Yeah.
They. So
Yeah,
that one-
precisely. They I was, that's why I kind of wish I went poly instead. I was from LaSalle. So not a bad thing, but for those who think poly are bad, I know polys are also great. You know, they have a platform for them to like train and whatnot, do all this kind of stuff like entrepreneurship. One thing that I really like about them is that they also provide like a grant. A grant at the start. So let's say if you need help on boost, whatnot, you can apply for it. Whereas for me, I had to rely on my own savings to start off. Yeah. That was a bit tricky.
I like.
Yeah. So since September until now, so how has your journey been?
It's been like a way. Woo. So at the start it was rough because I think at the start it was going to be rough for a lot of people lah. Maybe some were like, but it was a bit rough for me, a bit slow. Then throughout, actually before COVID it was okay. I think it started picking up in January, but it slowed down in May. May hit me quite a bit. Yeah, not because I couldn't find a job, but because the client had to delay payments. It's understandable lah, because you know it's a tough time, right?
Yeah.
So it's okay, fine. And then, but in June it picked up. So it took a month later. It just like. So I was like, oh okay. That was also because probably during May June period I was also like looking around, not hunting. I was talking to a lot of people. I was networking on LinkedIn and whatnot. Yeah, that taught me how to be a bit more thick-skinned. So that is helpful.
Oh, you have to be super thick-skinned.
Yeah.
No,
but the amazing part is that I'm always surprised how people are so willing to share. Maybe because I'm a bit mixed experiences. But I think there was one very interesting encounter I had was I don't know if you've heard of Mind Flyers. Can just share his work. So because I like to engage with my the artist community. So there's this one guy. His name is Michael Ng. He is the founder of like an illustration council in Singapore to form all illustrators in Singapore. Then he's got his own company as well. And I thought he might be the best guy I talked to, for different projects, for various projects. So I was a bit worried because I'm only friends with him on Facebook, but I never talked to him before or see him in person, only once. Then I was like, can I talk to this guy? Then I tried. Hello, I like your work. You know, do you mind if I ask you a question? He actually called me. You know, he called me after. He's like, hey, come. I share. Then I'm like, wow, okay. But so that was one of my surprises that I learned on the way.
Oh, that's a very valuable lesson. So one thing I learned also is that good things only come to people that dare to ask.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that was very true. I forgot this one, the friend who shared this very interesting advice. She says that not asking is kind of a slow form of suicide because you're left alone, and then you take a burden by yourself. It's a bit hard. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Oh, I'd be very keen to find out more about your works.
Yeah. Okay. I can share with you. After the call.
Yeah. No problem.
Yeah.
And it seems like it's like network and connection is really quite a key. It's a key criteria for you to expand in this industry and be there to ask, there to go out, to market yourself.
Yeah. I think there's something that I think that probably might needs to be changed, but I think it's changing. Is that when people see me, right? Because like you guys say, I look very young, because I also have a baby face. So because of that, right? If I'm standing next to, say, I had to bring this up because I have noticed this is a bit of a real talk. So if I stand next to a guy, right? So it does play down my value a little bit. So I think there are some advantages of doing online networking because they don't really see you. They just hear what you say and what you can provide. Then I'm like, yeah, I think that helps. But to be fair, also the industry is starting to realize and look forward, and just look beyond just like, oh, you look very young or your age. So that helps. Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Okay. So thanks for sharing today, Geraldine. So we are still posting all the video on our Facebook and YouTube. Feel free to
replay and then like
share the people also. Yeah. So stay tuned for our next week for another speaker for entrepreneurship. Thanks everyone today for coming to the event, to this session. So have a good weekend ahead. Thank you.
Okay, bye bye.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, bye.